Lovely to have your listening ears for the second in our collection of special Deepdale Festival podcasts in 2024. I'm Jason, and your host for this episode. In this episode, I chat with two of the gents from Track Dogs, Garrett, one of the Irishmen, and Robbie, the American, and to Rich from Man The Lifeboats. Garrett and Robbie talk about how two Irishmen, an Englishman, and an American formed a folk band in Madrid, Spain. Rich chats about Man The Lifeboats and the amazing artists he represents who are performing at the festival, including Hawksley Workman, Evangeline Gentle, Lady Nade and Luke Jackson, while also tipping his hat to his heroes Skinny Lister, who headline on Saturday night. Thank you to both bands for allowing us to play a sample of their music. From Track Dogs we play Cover Your Tracks, and from Man The Lifeboats we play Summer's Town. Enjoy this episode and look out for future episodes which will release shortly. Chris was very excited when you confirmed, so that was very good.
Oh, us too. Us too. We love Norfolk. We have a quite a good connection with the area, so that's helpful as well, you know. And we're just building on that as well. So to get the festival is doubly, satisfying. So it's great.
I am chatting to one of the four Track Dogs. I'm talking to Garrett, who is one of the two Irishmen, and there's also an Englishman and an American in the group, which I'm sure Garrett will explain shortly. They are playing on Friday in the Orchard. We're really looking forward to them playing. It will be a fantastic set. And welcome to Deepdale Podcast. I'm really excited you guys are coming to play. Thank you so much, Garrett.
Oh well, we're absolutely thrilled to be playing. Can't wait. It's going to be kind of the perfect way to end the summer. It's late September, so for us, it's ideal. In fact, it was an extra trip that we hadn't expected, but we're very grateful for. So we're flying in for that gig for the Friday night, and we're doing a house concert with a very good friend of ours in just below Norwich the day after, and that's it, and then back to Madrid. So it's going to be a lovely little boutique weekend.
So Madrid's base, is it?
Madrid's base.
For all the band?
All four of us, yeah.
Hi, Robbie.
Hello there.
Oh, there he is.
Welcome.
There he is.
I'm loving that beard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's sort of three stages of beard here. We've got Garrett with quite a short beard, Robbie with a really long ZZ Top style beard, and me sort of halfway in the middle. So I feel I feel like I'm in a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I love the fact that you've got your phone portrait so that you can get your full beard in as well.
That's right,
absolutely. That's great. So tell me, how did Track Dogs come about? How did the band appear?
Well, it's a funny one because I was back in the early 2000s. I was working in Madrid as an English teacher, and I was in a school in a part of Madrid called Argüelles, which is quite central. And one of my fellow teachers was Howard Brown, who's the trumpet player in the band, and he's from Sheffield. And myself and Howard, we knew each other, we talked, but I knew he was a musician, but we never connected about playing together, none of that. But in front of the English school was an Irish bar. There's always an Irish bar in
There's always anywhere you go in the world, yeah.
Exactly. Two Irishmen, an American and an Englishman walk into an Irish bar, and form Track Dogs. But Dave, the bass player, the other Irishman, he was the barman there. So I got to know him, and he introduced me to Robbie, who went in on a Tuesday night to play at the Irish session in the pub. So to cut a long story short, me, Dave, and Robbie had played together, but they didn't know Howard. So I had the idea over a period of 3 or 4 years. I suddenly had the idea to put together a band with cajon, trumpet, and bass, and myself. And I called the guys together for a rehearsal, and they all met at the first rehearsal. So they met Howard, Howard met them, and it was like sparks. I'll never forget it. It was immediate, the connection we had as people and as musicians. So
sparks still flying.
You can't really. We're still flying 18 years later. So
sparks in a good way, I hope,
true.
Robbie, rather than in a negative way.
Most of the time.
Well, you're a band. If you all got on all the time, it just wouldn't be creative, would it?
No. You have to have tension. There has to be some tension, something to when you're cooped up together touring, and when you're sharing, a lot of important moments, there's always going to be tension and emotions.
So, Robbie, how did you end up in Madrid?
I came to study the cajon, the box drum. I had studied Spanish, I had studied music, and I wanted to kind of put them all into action. I left biology to study music, and so I was behind and never got to do a sort of study abroad while I was in university or anything like that. So when I finished, I went to Madrid, and just, with the idea of staying. I told my mother, I'll be back. I don't know if it'll be 6 weeks or 6 months. I don't know. Well, then it was like 6 years, and 16 years. Now it's 25. It's not far off 26 years.
So I think you could probably describe Madrid as home then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not temporary anymore.
No, it's been quite the settlement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I studied classical percussion in general, orchestral stuff, and then about 12 years ago or so, I randomly took up the banjo.
Okay, of course, logical step.
Yeah. Well, I think it was one of these things of kind of getting back to my own roots, as it was becoming more and more apparent that Spain was my home. You kind of miss stuff, and I grew up hearing bluegrass. I wouldn't say that I was listened to it loads, or a few groups that I would see from time to time. One called The Rarely Heard. So it was kind of a way to get back to something really American. It was meant to make music a hobby again as well, and then it just started creeping its way into work life.
Where in the US are you from, Robbie?
A little town called Vermilion, Ohio, just west of Cleveland on Lake Erie in the Great Lakes area. Yeah.
In terms of gigs, do you guys kind of normally gig in Spain, or do you travel all over?
We've done most every province of Spain, and we're starting to look at that again. But for the last several years, we've been really focused on the UK, because things have really just gone well for us there. Just every little bit that we've invested just seems to like turn around, and people invite us somewhere new, or we get new fans. It just seems to be snowballing. So we focus on there quite a bit. Yes, we do still gig in Spain, and we hope to a bit more in the next coming year.
Yeah. Spain's always been a good market for us. We have a lot of social media presence here as well, but you reach a point where you can't go any further in Spain, because you sing in English and the kind of music we play. And although there's a very loyal kind of fan base, it's limited. So the UK, that what we noticed was that every time we did something, there was a knock on. There was always a positive result and the link, or at least a step forward. And that's not something you find everywhere. That's a very and for a band, that's like the yellow brick road. You just keep going on it till you get to Oz or whatever, or Deepdale, one of the other.
Yeah, we're very happy to be the other end of the yellow brick road. It's probably more of a green road for us, but or a country lane. I don't know, something like that. But that's good. Yeah. We like that. That's a nice imagery. I like that. That's good,
isn't it? We feel very lucky, very fortunate to have had so many doors open for us, and to have met so many great people who want to help open more. So that's something you never expect, but you just have to keep going, take advantage of that, and move forward. And it's been very organic, though. It's been really organic, and that's like 18 years down the road. We're still together, the same four people, and it feels really great to have the opportunity to play more and more music. Yeah, that's not something you ever kind of expect, really, in a way. The way the industry is at the moment. So it's great.
And how many albums are you guys into now?
We are about 10 albums.
Yeah, I think we're like the 11th, something like that, coming up.
Well, we're going to release, we released, I guess, about 10. Ever since we started in 2006, we changed our name in 2010 from Garrett Wall Band to Track Dogs. And we've had 8 since then. But we're kind of coming up to next year, which will be a big year. We're going to release best of EP. Well, we joke about that, but it's actually more like a compilation of all of the last 10 years or so. And in a way to come, because we have so many new fans and new people we're meeting all the time, we wanted a way to sort of compile the first 10 years of Track Dogs and include almost a full album's worth of new material as well. And as a kind of a, like before and after kind of thing, like from this point on and this point before. And that's going to be next year. And we're doing some of our biggest shows as well next year, next April and May. So, yeah. So everything at the moment is building up to that.
When you come on stage, what can they expect from a Track Dogs gig?
Somebody came up to us when we played a festival and said, wow, that was like 3 bands for the price of one. Because we've got 3 sort of main lineups that we do as our main sound: guitar, bass, cajon, trumpet, and the 4 voices. But there are 2 other kind of formats that we do where Garrett will play the ukulele, and sometimes I will play the banjo. And when I'm done the banjo, then Howard goes from trumpet to cajon. And apart from those kind of instrument changes, we also have a single condenser mic, like the sort of Oh Brother style, a single mic with the whole band gets around. Fantastic. And we usually do that as kind of, it's like the sorbet between courses, in one of our shows. So we'll start with like our main sound or the ukulele sound, which takes things a little bit Latin and dancey. Our main guitar sound stuff is a little more Americana, kind of rock, pop, country, acoustic kind of stuff. And then we've got our ballad moment when we have the single condenser mic. That's like the sort of ballad moment in the middle. Although we also do Carolina in My Mind all around that with all the instruments, but just all through the single microphone to get the 4-part harmony really blended there. So Beautiful. it's quite I think it's a pretty well-rounded show, even for a festival set, when you sometimes don't get to do as many songs as you would like to, as you would do in a full concert. Yeah. We still try to make it like there's a little bit of something for everybody, and hopefully go away having a little boogie.
We definitely try to give a lot of energy. I mean, when we do a festival gig, it's, I guess it's a slightly shorter show than what we might do on tour, but we kind of just try to give a nice, a bit of everything, but mainly for people to have a good time. You're at a festival to mainly, I guess, dance and have a bit of crack, and if it's late night, even more so. So
we tend to come out guns blazing on a festival set, especially when it's in the evening, and then that gives us the moment to have the little pause with the single mic.
yeah,
and then right back at it, and so everybody can, get the most energy out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's what we enjoy the most, It's and it's amazing how over the last 18 years, going on from what Robbie has said about introducing the banjo, and we've really we've added so many different styles, but in doing so, we have found our own style, and that's been a lot of fun, unexpectedly to find a sound or a style that defines who you are, and even though it's a bit of a mix up of everything, people seem to really enjoy that.
It sounds right up the street of all of the Deepdale Festival goers. I think you're gonna go down an absolute storm. I think people are gonna really love it, and it'll be fantastic.
Can't wait.
You're supposed to be interviewing us, but I wanted to ask you, what can we expect?
Well, I think the
good one, Robbie.
Deepdale Festival, it's we're a small festival. We're not trying to be anything huge. We're trying to be a festival which is about the music rather than all the additions, if you see what I mean. So and a lot of our regular festival goers are regulars at Deepdale anyway, so they're big lovers of the North Norfolk coast.
Great.
And then because we now offer the music as well, they kind of like, oh yes, lovely, this is brilliant. And we see the nice thing for the festival is probably 60 to 70% of people are return guests, so they kind of they know how the festival works. They almost kind of show other people where to go and thing before we get a chance to even do that. And they trust Chris to put together a really good program, and they just want to see music. They just want to see great bands. And they trust Chris to kind of basically put together a program that will just entertain them from 11 in the morning to 11 at night for 3 days and a Thursday evening. And just really, they will come along. And, occasionally we put in stuff that they'll kind of is a Marmite band, which some people absolutely love, some people absolutely hate, but on the whole,
I love that Marmite band.
Fans, and they will appreciate the energy that bands put into stage, the craft of them writing, and they will love the experience of being at Deepdale, because lovely surroundings help, but just amazing music in a beautiful place. So that I think is what people are looking for, and that's what they really want to see and enjoy. So I think you guys will, I can tell you guys will be absolutely what they're looking forward to, so they're going to love it.
Oh, great. Reminds me a little bit about the energy of, we played a festival recently called Moonbeams in Yorkshire, which is also a very small festival and is a lot of regulars that return people, and I think it's the future of festivals. I think the idea festivals that are intimate and really focused on what people want, and I think that's what I think is going to happen in the future. There's going to be more festivals going that route. I think it's going to be exactly our type of festival as well. We don't like things when they're too big. We don't like anything that's just ridiculously huge and you can't really have that connection with the audience or the people that are there. And that's very special. Like places like Beardy, like Moonbeams, and so can't wait.
Well, the relationship that we've built up with over the last few years with Costa, Harmony Voyages, but their festivals are only about 700 to 1,000 max, and it's very much 60-70% of the people are there every year.
That sounds very much like Deepdale.
So it sounds like the type. It sounds like we're going to really enjoy ourselves too.
Good. Excellent. Well, hope you'll get to see some of the other artists performing as well while you're there and stuff. That would be really lovely as well.
Well, Robbie's arriving early. You're arriving on the 25th, Robbie, aren't you? You're going to be there for a couple of days.
Yeah.
There on the Thursday night as well. Yeah.
So you'll be there for Man The Lifeboats and Evangeline Gentle and the Tin Heart Troubadours and people like that, which you'll like. So that'll be good.
In the 90s, when I was in Dublin, Sarah McQuaid she was playing in Dublin. She was a writer for local hot press, writing folk articles. And I met Sarah there and we used to hang out. We were part of this acoustic scene, which spawned Damien Rice, Glenn Hansard, Damien Dempsey, all those people came from that little scene that we had in Dublin. And Sarah then moved back to the UK, and I got in touch with her many years later and asked her for some contacts in the UK. And she actually gave me a bunch of contacts, which are now, which continue to be, amazing friends and, contacts for Track Dogs. So it is incredible the way things come around. It's quite amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, gents. Really, really lovely to speak to you. We're really looking forward to your set. For anybody who's coming to the festival or thinking about coming to the festival, Track Dogs, 2 Irishmen, an Englishman and an American from Madrid are going to be playing on Friday in the Orchard, and I think it's going to be absolutely just one of the unmissable gigs of the festival. It's going to be great.
Thanks.
So nice to meet you, gents, and we look forward to seeing you at Deepdale.
Yeah, see you in person very soon.
Sunset worthy of a song. I try to write it, what could go wrong? The truth will out in the end. I could just start all over again. It pains me to see you this way, broke from the inside, fragile as clay. If you never need to go back. I'll take you home, help you cover your tracks. I'll help you cover your tracks. I'll help you cover your tracks. We seldom get what we want. Our stories could be the same. Both near our breaking point, almost out of the game. We're tired of trying to even the score. Never get a foot in the door. Nothing ever seems good enough, no, anymore. A sunset worthy of a song. Might try to write it, what could go wrong? If truth will out in the end, I could just start all over again.
I am chatting with Rich Quarterman, and many of you have seen him on the Brick Barn stage at Deepdale and possibly the Orchard stage, because he has played the Orchard stage as well. He is the front man for Man The Lifeboats. He also plays as Quarterman, as a solo artist, and is the agent of various interesting artists that he's introduced us to for this year's festival. It's wonderful to welcome you back to the podcast, Rich. Thank you very much for joining me. And we are so looking forward to your opening headliner set on Thursday night of Deepdale Festival. It's going to be fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jason. It's always good to talk, and we can't wait as well. I think I said last year, playing at Deepdale feels like coming home. And it's kind of a cheat because we can play in a few places and say it feels like coming home, because London kind of feels like coming home, and I don't know, a couple of other festivals that we've played for years. But Deepdale's a really special place, because I think you guys picked us up when we were right at the very beginning, and we've come back a few times and always had a brilliant time and played to a brilliant audience and had a lot of fun. And then there's that 9% Moongazer ale that you guys have got dashed in the backstage area. That's the real reason, you know.
It's got nothing to do with the crowd that are dancing up and down to your great music. It's purely down to the Moongazer ale.
That's it. That's it.
David will be very happy to hear that you love his beer. Yeah, he'll be very, and Rachel will think that's absolutely hilarious. So that's great. The number of comments when we announced that you were going to be headlining on the Thursday was, oh crap, I better make sure I'm there on Thursday night then. So that's really great, because the following's fantastic. Because I think last year you played and it was November, wasn't it?
It was
and
freezing,
you played in the
yeah.
Brick Barn, and it wasn't part of the festival, it was a standalone gig. I think we were all a bit kind of like, will anybody come out in November? And actually it was just brilliant. It just went down an absolute storm. So
yeah, and it's very strange driving up through the kind of the countryside in Norfolk, coming to you guys in the middle of November, and it's cold and it's dark, and it was a weekend, wasn't it? It was a Friday, Saturday, I can't remember. Thinking, there's no real villages or settlements around here. Like, where is everybody going to come from? But chatting to the crowd, they're driving in from Norwich and like villages, and they're coming to stay from even further afield than that, and actually camping with you guys and staying in the rooms. It's really amazing that people came out for that, and that people keep coming to the festival as well. So no, I love the place. Can't wait to come back.
fantastic. Well, we are really looking forward to you. What's the last year been like with Man The Lifeboats? Have you been busy?
We haven't actually. We were really busy the previous year and recorded the album, released the album, did a little tour, did quite a few festivals. And then this year there's been quite a lot going on. I moved house. Aaron cycled from Land's End to John O'Groats, raising money for medical aid for Palestinians. So that took a few weeks out of May. David and I both got young kids, and we're both kind of juggling parenthood and being in a band and working as well alongside that. And Sam, who's our bassist, has had a hand injury for a while. So he had an operation earlier this year, and he's been trying to let that recover. So we deliberately didn't book a lot the first half of this year, and we've done a few festivals, a few really good ones, and we've got Moseley Folk and Arts Festival coming up at the end of August. And that's it, yeah. Back on the road in autumn.
Chris and Sheila, that's their favourite festival, Moseley, other than Deepdale. They have to say that because they organise it. But Moseley, they'll be in the crowd shouting for you.
It's an incredible lineup as well. I think we're on just before Beans on Toast on the second stage, and the second stage and the main stage are right next to each other. So you're kind of essentially playing to the same crowd because they alternate. So you've got, I don't know, the Levelers, and then us, and then Flogging Molly, and then Beans on Toast, and then Belle and Sebastian. It's just an amazing lineup. So we're hopefully going along for the whole weekend for that one to see everyone who's there. So it's been a quiet year, but we're planning a third album, and we've got some new songs to test out as well, and hopefully that'll be coming next year.
Of course, you've got a new groupie fan, Cerys Matthews.
So I think that was the moment of last year. That was the most joyous moment of last year. Because I've been looking after my dad who's got Alzheimer's and moving house and going through parenthood. And it was a really tough year last year for a number of reasons. And we hadn't had a holiday, and we just booked a cheap holiday to Lanzarote at Christmas. And we were lying on the beach on Christmas Eve, and 11 o'clock in the morning, Cerys Matthews comes on and says, right, I've got a song recommended by Jason Borthwick at Deepdale. This is Man The Lifeboats, Whiskey for Christmas. And I stood up in the air on a crowded beach, like put my hands up in the air, cried with joy, like was screaming at the top of my voice, cracked open a beer. And it was a joyous moment, yeah, because it'd been a tough year. So I have to thank you so many times for that, because I know that was your persistent tweeting
Well, it was lovely because she then followed it up with all your tour dates and all sorts of other info and things, which was really, really nice. So yeah, well, you know that we love having you guys there, but we also, we love seeing the development of all the artists that come to play at Deepdale. It's just really lovely to see how people progress and where they're playing next. And, we follow all the bands that play with us because it feels like we're part of the journey. And we're only a very small cog in that process, but it is really lovely kind of watching how bands kind of move on and just how luck is such a big part of it, and if in some small way we can sort of make people like Cerys aware of of artists who we really like, then it's a lovely pass back. So I'm glad it was a good Christmas present.
Oh, it was amazing. I've been listening to Cerys for years, and that show is on nearly every Sunday morning. So I'd probably been listening to it anyway, knowing that or hoping that we were going to be on, because they don't tell you you're going to be on. You can't spread the word. They just say Cerys would like to play this, and you have to send them an MP4. So I was in Lanzarote, like trying to contact my brother to hack into my computer at home to send off an MP3 to them. No, sincere thanks, and it does make a massive difference. Like if you get radio play from whatever radio station, it increases your profile. You can shout about it. You monitor your stats on like Spotify and Amazon and Tidal and Apple Music and so on. The day after we were played, our stats literally went through the roof, and we had 600 new fans and God knows how many new streams. So people hear it, people listen to it and go, oh, I'll follow them. So yeah, it made a massive difference. So thank you.
Town, there's no room at the inn. The chairs have all been stolen and the walls are caving in, and you can watch the world explode for the price of a tin. I can tell you all a story, but I don't know where to begin. Another night in Town, the water levels rise. They flooded the mosque, man, right in front of our eyes. And there's a boatload of souls for Jesus to save, and the Maria Fidelis must be spinning in her grave. Here all the cops are on the run.
along with playing as Man The Lifeboats and headlining the Brick Barn on Thursday, and then playing a solo set on Saturday, you've brought to Chris a number of really interesting artists who are playing this festival, haven't you?
An agency called Midnight Mango, a booking agent, just took me on, and I started building up my own roster. It's massive now. I've got 19, I think, 20 artists, and they're all artists that are, actively out there and touring, and all artists I really, really feel passionately about. I love them. I love the music. In some cases, I've loved it for years. I'm actually working for some artists who I would otherwise call my influences and heroes and so on. Hawksley Workman, who is an absolute, just a maestro of a musician. He sings, records, songwrites, plays all instruments himself, and he makes these amazing pieces of music. And he's an absolute legend in Canada. And
you'd be very pleased to know my Canadian cousin OJ messaged me as soon as we announced that Hawksley was playing.
Yeah.
And that messaged me and went, "Oh my God, you guys have done amazingly to get Hawksley playing." So there you go. So that's great.
Like my friend played him. I remember hearing his album and listening to it and being a fan like 20 years ago when it first came out. And yeah, I wasn't a super fan, and I never went to see him live, I don't think. But he, like, some of his later stuff, it's just gorgeous. There are so many genres in there. There's Americana, there's folk, there's rock, there's glam rock. It's just incredibly inspiring. So, and I really want to see him. I missed him last year when he was over because we were playing a gig somewhere. But I really want to. I'll catch him a couple of times on this tour, I think. So he's playing London Roots Festival, and he's doing gigs in Hull and Sheffield and Stockport and Leamington Spa. He's got a kind of 9 or 10 date tour that booked for him. I hope it goes really well because he's borrowing my van as well. Also, another Canadian artist, Evangeline Gentle, who I heard one song of hers. It's called "The Strongest People Have Tender Hearts," and I was blown away. I'm like, this is just astonishing. And she's a Scottish Canadian singer-songwriter, and she's coming over and doing a small run as well. She hasn't been over too many times to the UK to do tours, so it's early days. But she's so talented. There's going to be plenty more in the future. And she's playing before us, I think, on the Thursday.
Yeah, she's on Thursday night with you, and yeah, Hawksley is on Sunday.
Lady Nade, who is an absolute machine. She knows more about the music industry and knows more about booking, promoting, marketing, strategy than I think anyone. And then
she's amazing. We follow her on social media, and she's doing all sorts of stuff. Like, she posted a photo of her all dressed up in RNLI garb, and she's been on Radio 2, and looking for. She's doing all this Nina Simone stuff, isn't she, at the moment, which is just incredible.
So she goes out with a full band doing a Nina Simone tribute show, and yeah, Lady Nade sings Nina Simone, and it's doing really well. And there's a load of dates in later this year, a full tour in September to December, and we're booking more for next year. And she also does festivals under that kind of guise as well. But she's doing her originals as well, and she plays solo, duo, trio. She plays as a full band. She's three albums in, I think, and her next album, she played it to me. She sent a link, and I was absolutely blown away. And that's coming out next year, and there's gonna be a big album release till next September to December 2025. It's just brilliant. It's like, it's timeless. It's like something you've heard. It could be from the 40s, it could be from the 70s. The songwriting is that good. And as well as all of the performing and different things, she gets involved with Music Venue Trust and a number of charities. She goes into schools and care homes, and I honestly don't know where anyone has that kind of energy and drive to do so much music and to do so many good things with it. So yeah, she's coming on Saturday.
So she's Saturday. So she's the same day that you're playing your solo. She's on the Orchard.
And I must mention the last act that I've got on is Luke Jackson. As a solo artist, I think this time. He usually goes out with his trio. He's just back from a tour of Jules Holland support dates. He's been going for 10, 12 years now, and he's got the most amazing voice. He sounds like an English folk Jeff Buckley almost. But his songwriting influences are, Richard Thompson, Fairport, and there's a bluesy element to him as well. I think he should be up there with, his voice reminds me of Sam Fender a little bit. I think he should be really up there with some of these amazing new English artists. So to see him in a small, intimate environment play is always a pleasure. So
he's playing on Sunday, and he's going to be in the Orchard, and I think that will suit him beautifully. I think, because you can hear a pin drop sometimes in the Orchard, despite the fact it's on grass, because people are just so engrossed in the music that they're listening to. It's just lovely.
Yeah, so, it was a good atmosphere when I played there last time. Could hear all my fluffed lines and messed up notes on my acoustic guitar. So I was so nervous. It's different playing solo shows than it is band shows. But
the nice thing is that you chat with the audience. The Deepdale lot, they want to see real musicians playing real music, and that's what they're there for. And so they want to experience what it's like for you playing, or Luke or Hawksley or Evangeline or Lady Nade. Want to hear a bit of the banter around how this song came about, and that's what our guys are there for. They're not there for face painting and and glitter and everything else. They're there for the music. They're there to try and see as many of the artists as they possibly can, and to meet them as well. That's the thing they really love, is that the queue for people kind of getting CDs signed afterwards and that sort of stuff is just lovely, because people really enjoy chatting with the artists.
The last mention on your lineup this year is our heroes. The reason why we exist is, of course, Skinny Lister.
Yeah.
And we formed after a Skinny Lister gig, as I'm sure many people know. They're such an inspiration. They're such a lovely bunch. Really, they've been generous enough to have us on a couple of their tours and a couple of their shows as support. And we've always gone down so well with their audience. That I think a lot of our fans, the people who have now started following us, have come from their fan base as well. So we're grateful that they've let us steal some of their fans as well. But I just absolutely love their music. I think Dan is a brilliant songwriter. I think with all the kind of the energy and the kind of fast-paced folk and the mosh pit at the gigs, I think what sometimes gets lost is the quality of his songwriting. And some of the quieter songs, some of the more acoustic ones. Like since having a kid, I've wanted to write the perfect song about having a kid, and he's already done it. He wrote Bonnie's Eyes on the last album. It's just perfect. It says exactly what I would want to say about having a little one, and so therefore I've given up trying to write that song because he's already done it.
Don't give up. Don't give up. It'll come to you. It'll come to you right just at the right moment.
It'll come
while you're in a queue waiting for for face paints or something.
Yeah. I can't wait to see them. I think they'll be brilliant in the barn. They'll bring so much to the weekend. Yeah, very much looking forward to that.
Thank you so much, Rich. Really lovely to chat with you, as always. We are so looking forward to Man The Lifeboats coming back for what is now becoming sort of an annual visit, which is absolutely wonderful. Man The Lifeboats are playing on Thursday night, the 26th of September, in the Brick Barn. They are headliners for Thursday night. And then Rich is playing on Saturday, Courtyard Stage. And then, as he's mentioned, various artists that he represents. Evangeline Gentle is playing before Man The Lifeboats on Thursday. Lady Nade is playing on Saturday. And Luke Jackson is playing on Sunday. And we are really looking forward to them. And Hawksley Workman is also playing on Sunday. So we are a proper international festival this year with artists from Canada, which is very exciting.
Can't wait, and looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for listening to the second episode of the Deepdale Festival Podcast 2024. More episodes are currently being recorded and edited and will be released shortly. If you'd like to know more about artists performing at Deepdale Festival 2024, please take a look at the website deepdalefestival.co.uk. Hope we'll see you in September for amazing live music.